As we saw in the last video, Ron Paulk designed the Paulk workbench for his own professional use. But there isn't just one, or two, or six Paulk workbenches in existence. There are literally hundreds. Not built by Ron, but by folks who have lined up to buy the plans online. This is not a situation that Ron planned for when he set out to design the bench, but after he posted a YouTube video showing the bench in action, well, things changed. We'll let Ron tell you the story of how he realized he had an unexpected product design hit on his hands.
When I put the original YouTube video up, that was for fun. I was on job sites with my workbench, and I had homeowners just commenting on it and very interested in it. And then other subcontractors that might be working on the job with me also had a lot of interest. And so it was just sort of that, I realized there was something there that was beyond what I saw. I had designed it for myself and my needs, and was just putting it to use, and people were coming out of the woodwork to look at it and to make comments. So I made the video for fun, and there were no plans. I had made a model of it in SketchUp and had built it and had made some modifications as I was building it, and that's what I showed on the video. And then I started receiving emails, hundreds and hundreds of emails asking for plans, and I kept saying, I don't have plans, just watch the video, you should be able to come up with something very similar. And then I had a couple of people offer me money to draw a set of plans, hundreds of dollars. And I said, I really don't have time for that, and you should be able to do it from the video. Well, the pressure stayed on, and so I decided, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and sketch up a set of plans that I can put somewhere and let people download. And as I was doing that and I was looking at some of the emails, I realized that my client, or the clientele, the end user, were not all professional carpenters. In fact, it seemed that most of them were people who were doing weekend work, or they had woodworking as a hobby. And some of the questions I was getting from people who were trying to develop their own bench from my video, I realized that the plans were going to have to be very detailed and give a lot of information. So I ended up putting about 100 hours into the plans to get them to a point where there was enough information that I felt that just about anybody with basic carpentry skills could build it. And so at that point I thought, well, I need to charge a little bit for them to recapture some of my time. And so, we worked through that. My wife and I worked through that and came up with $10. And the rest is history. There are thousands and thousands of these plans out in over 100 countries, and the demand keeps on keeping on.
Now, Ron, most of our audience are product designers who are used to seeing their designs being mass manufactured at a factory and subsequently purchased by consumers. But the Paulk workbench is a little different because the end user is buying the plans directly from you, and then they're building it themselves, individually cutting out the shapes that you designed. How does it feel to see your design go out into the world?
Oh, it's very enjoyable, very exciting. When I send the plans out, I do it manually. People are able to go on and just order automatically, but I fill the orders one at a time. So I see their name, where they live, and I will sometimes send an extra comment or two, depending on how many plans come in at once. But one of the general comments that I've got on all of the mail that goes out with the plans, or email, because I do email these, I don't physically mail them. They're a PDF. And I ask, if you have time, send me a picture of you with your workbench. And I have hundreds and hundreds of photographs of people with their workbench, big smiling faces, and some just the workbench that don't want to be in front of the camera. But it's been very exciting to see, and there's a lot of prettier benches out there than mine. There's a lot of guys who've taken some exotic woods and done some exotic plywoods and stuff and made some absolutely furniture grade workbenches that are absolutely gorgeous.
And now that you've discovered that the workbench is a hit, that the demand is there, will you continue to design things and sell the plans for them? It seems that you've stumbled upon a potentially lucrative side business.
Yeah, it's become that. It's one of those happy accidents, not intentioned, but it came running after me. And so yeah, I will continue. I think the version 2 is part of that, just continuing to look at it as I use it in the field, in the real world every day. If I can improve on it, I will. I'm pretty happy with the current design. I don't have any concepts currently to to make any changes to the workbench. But I did develop a miter stand that was a very similar concept, and that's also been very popular. And then I have an attachment for the workbench. It's a crosscut jig, and essentially, you know, in building cabinets and the kind of interior work that I do, a lot of custom work, I have to break down a lot of plywood, and you know, having a big sliding saw that can cost you $10,000 to $20,000 and also take up a lot of shop space. Well, Festool has their great track saw, and so just having a way to fix that in and be able to get repeatable cuts over and over again, particularly when you're doing cabinets where you have to have a lot of the same piece cut over and over. So just played around with an idea that would clamp to the bench and allow me to just set the saw down and keep the saw in the exact same position time and time again.
And I understand there's a potential future direction you may pursue with your workbench design. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, in addition to all of the carpenters and woodworkers out there that have asked for these plans and the whole reason that they're in existence, I've also been contacted by a tool manufacturer who would like me to develop a knockdown version that they could ship. So that's something that we're thinking about. We haven't done it yet. We have talked to a local CAD shop, but we're trying to figure out, I'd have to redesign it. Assembled it would be the same, but I have to look at a way that it could be knocked down and assembled by the end user with everything included. So that'll be an interesting design conundrum.